Hey y'all, I'm back and I have more of your Let's Not Meet stories, and I don't know if I'm ready for this one. We have a part 2 to a story I read recently. It was a hard story to read then, and I can't even imagine what's going to be in part 2. The original story was called My Ex Tried to Kill Me. I will have the video that it's in linked down below. And this says My Ex Tried to Kill Me part 2. And I'm just gonna say really quickly, they had mentioned in the first part that they were hesitating to post the story because they didn't want the person to see it. They had DM'd me because I was checking my DMs religiously to make sure that they didn't tell me to take it down. They had messaged me, they told me it was completely fine that I'd posted the video. But I wanna say, again, if you change your mind for any reason, just please message me. Okay. Hi, I recently posted my story about how my ex tried to kill me, and in a moment of weakness, I deleted it from Reddit. But I've decided that it's a good idea to get my story out there to maybe be able to help other young girls or guys who are in similar situations. She did in fact post my story. Me, very happy she did, give you full permission to keep the story up. But again, if for any reason, I'm so serious, please message me. Anyways, in the first part, I didn't go into much detail about how it all started or the signs I ignored that led into the abuse. So I figured I would post a follow-up, so maybe if somebody's in a relationship like this, they will leave before it turns into something more. Like I said in the last part, I was only 15 when it started, and I didn't really understand relationships or anything about how a man or boy was supposed to treat you. I thought all of his behavior was normal, and none of my friends or family ever said anything different or told me that what he was doing was wrong. I also want to say I don't blame them or anyone else for what happened to me. I do in fact know it's not my fault, and since most of the comments were saying they hoped I got therapy for what I went through, I did. Also, my mom and I have a wonderful relationship now as well, and I did make amends with my father. I'm very happy that they found their way back to each other. Okay, now I'm gonna put some warnings, again, just in case anyone doesn't want to read about any of this stuff. Violence towards animals, mental and physical abuse, jokes about SA, and drug abuse. If I think there needs to be any other sort of like trigger warning, I will put it, it'll be like text on the screen. Okay, I can already see like going into this next paragraph, trigger warning for SA. I don't believe there's any details about it, but regardless. Like I said in my past story, while I went into my first year of high school, I had a different boyfriend at the time who had in fact SA'd me during our time together. Apparently bad men know how to find me easily. Anyways, at the beginning of the relationship, I had confided in A in order to make sure he knew the boundaries that I needed to set in order to make sure I felt safe in the relationship. At this time, he was in one of his nice moods, so he had promised to make sure I always felt safe. Most of these events might not be in order, but these are all before the bad stuff started happening and earlier in the relationship. Anyways, he'd always bring me around his friends and make me feel super welcome with them and make sure I felt like I was part of the group. Then, eventually, he would start making me seem crazy in front of his friends, such as doing stuff like saying other girls were cute or had big boobs for butts. Just anything that would make me have a big reaction, so it would seem like I was easily angered and he could make me seem crazy. One time, he took me to meet his friends at their house, and where we were, I didn't have service. It was getting close to my curfew, so I knew I'd have to go home soon. But when I went to leave, one of his friends refused to get out of my car. So I told him he would just have to come with us. We left with his friend in the car, A was driving, and then his friend started flirting with me. I did not reciprocate any of these feelings and barely answered when we would talk. When we got back to his house to drop him off, he refused to let his friend come into his house and told him that he would just have to come with me. Being scared of getting home late, I told the guy that he would just have to sleep in the car in my driveway because I had to be home. The friend agreed, but of course about 30 minutes of me being home, the friend was knocking on the door, and me being scared my mom would find out, I let him in. Of course, I didn't do anything with this guy. I didn't even want him in my house. He was trying to get me to do stuff the whole time, but I eventually talked A into coming and getting him and taking him away. For months after this, he used it against me to make me feel like I had done something wrong. And he would say how sorry he was about how he acted, and he was just so mad because I was his girl and he couldn't live without me. After this incident, some girl who was friends with his friends texted him asking who he was with, to which he replied, me, and then went on to flirt with her. When I caught him, he said it was just payback for the other situation. Then he apologized. It made me feel so bad, so I didn't leave. One time, me and some of his friends and their girlfriends took a trip, and of course, since he didn't have money, I had to pay for him and me. I bought his food, his hotel room, and all the ride tickets and anything else he wanted. Eventually, we ran out of money, and we had to quit going on rides and decided we would just sit and watch the others, but instead, he got his friends to only pay his way onto more rides while I sat alone and cried because I didn't understand why he would agree to stay with me and then go behind my back. And of course, he made it out to his friends that I was just crazy. Since he had made me be so comfortable with his friends, when he decided he didn't want to go to the haunted house, I figured it would be okay for me to go with them. So we left and I sat passenger so I could be the direction person since I had previously been. And the oldest guy, who was 18 at the time, was the driver since we had to get onto an interstate and he was the most experienced. Of course, this guy flirted with me, not reciprocated, and his other friends told him we were flirting. So we got mad and started blowing up my phone saying how much of a slut I was, and I ruined the whole trip. Now, at this point, I want to say that I had really low self-esteem and had already been diagnosed with depression at this time. It was very easy for him to make me feel like maybe I really was doing something wrong or that the events happening were my fault. For this story, he had already began getting violent with me. We were at McDonald's getting food and he was driving, and of course I was paying because he still didn't have his own money. Then a group of guys got out of their car and they were staring at me funny, making eyes and faces at me, so I locked the doors and asked him to please make sure they didn't hurt me because, of course, I had some fear from past events that have occurred. This is when he looked at me directly in the eyes and he told me that he hoped that they did come SA me. Then when I started crying, he told me I better stop before he throws me out of the car and beats me while they help. He had gotten gifted a gun for his birthday at some point and ended up deciding that he would shoot random animals in front of me to make me upset. And at one point, he forced me to watch him dissect a squirrel and eat its brain. He also would take me fishing, and then when I would catch the fish and ask for help getting it off the hook, he would just laugh. Stop being a wimp about everything. He used stronger language that I don't feel comfortable using. He also had 3 dogs at the time, and one had taken a liking to me more than the other, so when I would do something that he didn't like, he would threaten to kill that specific dog. At one point, he got mad at me about a video game while his friends were over, so he threw a remote at me and then made his friends think it was an accident. He would expect me to only wear things he deemed appropriate or things he approved of. I had limited contact with my friends and family. He would always go through my phone to make sure I wasn't talking to anyone about what he was doing to me. At one point, I took a picture of a bruise he left, and he would make me delete it in front of him from everything. He would watch when I would text my mom. He would also leave to go do drug things with his dad for days at a time. And if I wasn't there when he got back, he would hit me. He would never text me while he was gone, and I never knew when he would be coming back, so I would be stuck at his house for days at a time by myself, scared to leave. He would also drag me along while he was doing his own drug things and then use it against me if I ever tried to retaliate. At one point, we went camping and he talked me into smoking weed. I took 2 hits and then immediately felt sick, so of course he made me walk into the dark woods by myself with no flashlight, nothing, in order to puke. He would get mad about the guys at my job. Keep in mind, I didn't even work with them. They would just be leaving to go home when I got there. And when the whole situation with the guy from Wendy's happened, he just laughed about it. During the time this was happening, I had been worn down and I was a shell of a person. No matter what he did, he would always find a way to make it seem normal or like it was my fault. So this is the part where I say, if a guy claims to love you or wants to be with you, he will never put his hands on you. He will never call you names or yell at you. He'll never make you feel bad about the things that have happened to you or the things you're going through in your life. He will not make his friends think you're crazy. He will not go days without texting you at a time without any warning whatsoever. And if he does any of these things, get out while you can, because if a man can hit you, he can kill you. You should never ever fear for your life or your safety when you are with somebody you love or who loves you. Adding on to what was said in the comments of the video posted with the last story and to what was said in the video, yes, I did get therapy for all of the things that happened. Yes, both of these stories are 100% real, and anything else I post will always be real. I have a lot of crazy stories, so me and my daughter are doing absolutely wonderful. She is the light of my life and saved me in so many ways. I'm so thankful for her, and although her dad also really sucks, I don't let him get to me, and I do my best to make sure she'll never have to go through the things that I went through. And although I have definitely moved on from those parts of my life, I'm very cautious about things now and still hold some trauma from those things. That's totally understandable. That being said, if you're in a situation like this or a situation where you don't feel safe, please get out, find help, and find somebody who can help you find yourself again. I mean, like, reading that, it just breaks your heart. I mean, seriously, everything he did is just so awful. And you being so young at the time, and I know you were having issues at home too, so you kind of felt stuck in more ways than one. Like you had nowhere else to go, so you almost had to put up with it because you thought you loved him, you thought he loved you, but also because you didn't really have anywhere to go, and that just, oh fuck, that makes me so sad. And I'm so happy that you are completely out of it. You have your daughter, and that, I mean, you're gonna give your daughter like the best life you possibly can. And now that you have your life back, you can give yourself the best life possible. Okay, and then this next story says, my psychotic ex kept me prisoner and always had a gun. Hey Courtney, I've watched your videos for quite a few years and I love them. I've shared a story with you before, so I figured I would share this one too. For safety reasons, I would like to remain anonymous and I'll be changing names throughout. I'll call my ex Kurt, my best friend Macy, her boyfriend Gavin, my best friend Lisa, and my sister Emily. Warning, the story's long. Trigger warning, threats of murder, and SA. Again, if I think I need anything else, I will put it right here. I just turned 17 at the time of this story. It was my junior year of high school. Macy decided we should go to prom, but I didn't have a date. She said she would find me one. About a week later, she introduced me to Kurt. He was 19, almost 20. Big red flag, I know. But I was young and naive, so I didn't think much of it. Fast forward to prom, it got canceled because COVID had just hit, so we decided to have our own. We drove to a local mountain campsite, had a bonfire, danced a little, and cooked hot dogs over the fire. It was actually a really fun night until it started raining. We all piled into the truck and drove to Macy's house. We turned on a scary movie and I cuddled up to Kurt. I felt something poking me in the side, so I asked what it was, and that's when he pulled a pistol off his belt and set it on the table next to us. Now, I grew up around guns. I wasn't scared of them, but this felt off. The gun was always on him no matter where we went. At first, it seemed odd, but later, it turned into something more terrifying. A few weeks later, Kurt came out to my house and we were with my horses. I don't remember what set him off, but he got mad and stormed off to his car. About 30 minutes later, I found him drinking a beer. I asked where he got it and he pointed to his truck. Half a case of beer was in there and cans were scattered everywhere. He was already drunk and it got to the point that Emily and I had to steal his car keys and lock him out so that he couldn't drink anymore. Trying to keep him under control was like giving a bobcat a bath. By dark, he was passed out in the gravel next to my horse trailer where he was supposed to sleep. I managed to get him inside. He started crying, so I got in the trailer and I hugged him. Then he pushed me onto my back and started kissing me. I told him to stop, that I wasn't ready for anything like that. He didn't listen. Just then, my dad called and told me to get in the house. I told Kurt what my dad had said and he let me go. As I walked back, I was in shock. I kept thinking, he's drunk, he doesn't know what he's doing. The next morning, I went to wake him up for work. He was still asleep, so I gently shook his arm. He kissed me, and I laid my head on his chest and talked to him for a minute. Then I kissed him again, told him to have a good day, and started to get up. That's when he wrapped his arms around me and pulled me back. I asked what he was doing, and he said, "What we started last night." I froze. I knew exactly what was about to happen, and I also knew he was stronger than me. I won't go into details, but that was the first time he essayed me. When it was over, he got dressed and left me there, crying, hurt, and completely alone. That makes me want to cry. I'm so sorry. It only got worse. He kept drinking heavily, cheated on me constantly, and even started hitting on my 15-year-old sister. He was 20 at this point. I started making sure to never leave them alone. I was terrified he would hurt her. One night we were driving back from somewhere and I told him about something my previous ex had done to me. It was like a switch flipped. His face went completely blank and he went quiet for several minutes. Then he looked at me and his eyes, normally blue, looked pitch black. My heart dropped. He finally said, "I know a guy who can make people disappear." He wasn't joking, and in that moment, I realized how dangerous he truly was. I knew if I ever left, he might kill me. Or my family. From there, things spiraled. He never hit me, but he would wrap his hands around my throat. Sometimes pretending to choke me, other times actually doing it. I was so scared and so ashamed that I let him treat me like this, but I kept a brave face around everyone and he kept up his act of being the perfect guy. I was with him just over a year before I moved in with him. Macy and Gavin, 3 hours from home. That's when it got even worse. He got insanely controlling and they weren't much better. I wasn't allowed to talk to my family unless someone was listening in. I couldn't go on a drive, draw in another room, or ride my horses alone. I was a prisoner. The assaults were so much worse now that we lived together. And he was drunk every single night. This went on for months. I didn't think I would ever get out. Until one day, I went with Macy to visit our families. For some reason, he let me go without him. That night, he called and said he thought we needed a break. I knew this was my chance. I stayed with my family for a few days, and then Emily and Lisa came with me to get my stuff. Emily and Macy ended up getting into a huge fight. It was a total shit show, but we got my things and we left. A few days later, I called him and told him I couldn't do it anymore. I was done. Surprisingly, he agreed. I blocked him on everything and I blocked Macy too. Living in that house was hell. I truly believe I'm lucky to have gotten out alive. So to anyone going through something similar, please leave. No one deserves to be treated like that, and you might not be as lucky as I was. To my psychotic ex who kept me prisoner and always had a gun, let's never meet again. Oh my God, you guys. Oh my God. I'm like trying to tell myself like, oh, these aren't real, because I'm like, I just don't even know how to process these things. Holy shit. Obviously I know that they are real, like, and I'm so genuinely sorry for everything that you guys have gone through. And the fact that I have another one, the fact that there's another one is just, oh my God. Okay, this is the last story. Let's not meet. Chased around my town at 3 a.m. by one of my friend's abusive boyfriend. Starting off, I'm currently 21, but this happened when I was around 18 or 19. I used to live in this apartment complex that was overrun by badass apartment teenagers that I was friends with. One of them, gonna call him Junior, was a menace. When I tell you this fruity motherfucker did not give a single care in the world, I could write a whole book about all the crazy stuff our group would get into. Anyways, he would steal his mom's car on the regular, and on one of those nights, I just so happened to be hanging out with him, as well as my sister. We were chilling in his room after all of us had finished, I'm assuming, they put like emojis, but I'm assuming smoking, and then he got the bright idea of stealing his mom's car. We were all on board because who wouldn't be? Anyways, he sneaks into his mom's room, gets her keys, and we all hop out of his first story window. His mom was a deep sleeper, so we were excited that tonight was going to be peaceful and fun. We thought wrong, but we're not there yet. We jump in the car and he had already called his best friend at the time. We'll call her Emily, and she told him to pick her and her friend up. Mind y'all, none of us had a driver's license. The most one of us had was a learner's permit, which was me. Anyways, Junior drove to Emily's apartment complex, which wasn't too far from ours. Once we picked her up, we started heading back to our complex because we were planning to, I'm assuming, smoke some more weed. On the way back, I had to drive because Junior got scared of the cops that were on the way back to our complex. On the way back, Emily's ranting about how controlling her boyfriend, now ex, is and how abusive and crazy he is. Keep in mind, because this is very important later, she explained that she left him and was basically venting about the whole thing, and I felt so bad. We offered her some weed to get it off her mind, and she agreed. So boom, we get back to our complex and we park in a designated spot that we call the hotbox spot. I start getting everything ready, we're chatting, sparking up, when all of a sudden a red car slowly pulls up behind us and just stays there. I watch way too much true crime, so I'm paranoid already, and it didn't help that I had smoked. So I pointed it out, and tell me why Emily casually goes, "That's my ex's car." Excuse me? We all stare at each other, then Junior starts panicking. I hop in the car, Emily literally jumps in the trunk to hide, and her friend is frozen in shock. While we're all collectively freaking out, Emily's ex, which we'll call Robert, gets out of his car and comes up to ours and tells Junior to roll the windows down. Robert then proceeds to not ask, but demanded us to tell him if we knew where Emily was. None of us were about to snitch on a girlie, so we all lied and said that we didn't know. He did not believe a word that came out of our mouths. He then starts peeking into the windows of the car to try and get a look inside, but Junior's mom's car was tinted, and the tiny spot we were in was dark enough to completely black out the back of the car. After a while of him looking, it seemed like he slightly believed us, and I was ready to make my way back home because I was not about to get in the middle of this until Junior starts arguing with Robert, which makes us look even more suspicious. So Robert then said he wasn't gonna fall for our bullshit. At this point, I wanted to sink in a hole, but I was glued to my seat. Junior tried to reason with Robert, and that's when he offers to help Robert look for Emily. Mind you, she's still in the trunk. Robert agrees and we start leaving my complex. I'm completely regretting my choice of friends in this point. But anyways, Junior starts driving around to places where she might be. Robert's following so close that honestly, if Junior tapped his brakes, there would have been damage that would have costed our lives. After a while, we go through some back roads and try and lose him, and honestly, for Junior not having a license, we surprisingly didn't crash. We were speeding through roads like nothing, trying to get away from Robert, but he had stayed on us the entire time. At some point, Emily's brother got involved in the chase, and when we had to go back to our complex after getting chased literally almost all around our town for a while, they blocked us off in the hotbox spot. Eventually, Emily's brother got out of his car and convinced her and Robert to talk to each other, and we all ended off the night by driving around and smoking, while Emily and Robert were arguing on the side all night. But yeah, so to the one girl's abusive boyfriend that chased us around my town at 3 a.m., please, let's never meet again. I'm so sorry, that's insane. I'm like, why does that remind me of like my high school experience? Minus the abusive boyfriend, but like that's something me and my friends would have gotten into when I was like a degenerate in high school. I was a big fat fucking loser for most of my high school career, but we'd go to this one specific park and just like get drunk at the park because there was a drive-through liquor store that would always sell to us, so we would just go get like a fucking thing of Old English and chug it at the park. It was insane. Oh my god, that gave me flashbacks. Okay, well that's all I have for now. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any other crazy let's not meet stories, I don't fucking know, that you want to share with me or the community, I will have my subreddit linked down below. But other than that, I'm gonna go. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Fastest update in the entire world. I've been taking this sleeping medication for like maybe 4 or 5 days, maybe 5 or 6 days now. I feel like a brand new person. It's insane. I'm cured. I'm not, but you know what I mean. I feel so much better, you guys. Like I said in my last video and the video before that, I hadn't slept through the night in months, and I'm finally sleeping again and getting deep sleep. I feel so much better. It's insane. But yeah, that's like all I really have to say, because I feel great. I feel amazing. Been able to like work and craft and do all these things that like I love normally doing, and I haven't been too tired to do them. So yeah, that's it. But I love you guys a lot. See ya.